I'm going to do a character study of community. Now, I like to take vacations. They make me happy. How many of you out there like to take vacations? Let's see it. Way to go. So, when I go on vacations, I like to camp out, find a spot where I can draw the community. I like this sketch right here is a hill town in Tuscany. It took me 2 hours. It went on forever. Everyone else was off tasting wine and shopping, and I'm here drawing. And the truth is, there was a big farmer's market, they called it, although not like ours. They sold blue jeans, but the point is, they had tents and people, and down at the bottom of the slide, where the title is, there were tents and people, and I don't draw people. I'm an architect, I draw buildings, because people are difficult to draw. But I realize that you don't have a character sketch of community if you don't have people, because this is just a building. But tonight I'm going to tell you how I take buildings to create community. When I was a freshman at OSU in 1970, on the side of the building, Engineering South, big sign, give a damn. Architects, give a damn. Well, I love that. I wasn't even in class yet and said, this is it. This is me. I love this. I love caring about everything. And I love caring about society, and I love building community with buildings. This is my community. This is where I was raised. Farm, 3 hours west, Okeen, Oklahoma. I see you don't think that looks like a community. Those hay bales, real. There's strong barn material. That's our house. Across the road was another part of our community, had a house where the neighbor lived, had barns. That neighbor did not have plumbing in their home until I was about in the 6th grade. I rode a bus to school every day to a one-room schoolhouse. No kidding. Kind of rural, isn't it? Very rural. But the bottom line is, it's community. Even though it doesn't have a big development, it's community spirit. Do you know the #1 cause of death in rural areas is farming accidents and the inability to receive medical attention in a timely fashion? Architects give a damn. Access to health care is critical, not necessarily having an insurance card, which is what everybody usually talks about. I'm talking about having someone somewhere who can help you diagnose what's going on and help you get better. This is my family. Carl Laubach family, celebrating my dad's 90th birthday. He's the little man in the middle. You see me smiling. Boy, that was a great birthday party. Guy to my right's my brother Dennis. The last Saturday in April of this year, my brother Dennis had a cerebral abscess in his left frontal lobe. I'm so glad Dr. Taylor explained all that to you. Diagnosed as a stroke, then a tumor, ended up being a strep infection in his brain. He was out feeding his cattle, had a seizure, doesn't remember much else. His car was found running 2 hours later with the door open. His pickup, was on top of a dead cow, driven into his herd. He was found walking an hour later, all cut up with barbed wire along the side of the road. Strangers picked him up. I asked him today if he knew their name. He didn't even know their name. They put him in their car, bleeding, and drove around looking for his pickup, thinking he was having car trouble, never found it. It was in a pasture. They took him to an ambulance stop. They took him to a small community hospital. They took him to Oklahoma City. He was there most of the summer. He's learning to talk again. He now walks, his right arm moves. But the point is, if you don't have access to health care in a critical time, any moment you can need it. And for the past 25 years, I've helped build that. I've helped go to the small communities. I put 25,000 miles a year in my car, driving everywhere, helping a small community have a place to take care of someone like my brother. They call him the miracle in Northwest Oklahoma, and he is. But that's part of why I think what we do builds community. Now I'm going to throw just a little bit of architecture into this. Well, let me tell you one last slide. Did I tell you? To have an international flair, I'm showing you some of my best communities. This is Gimmelwald, Switzerland. Smallest town, poorest town in Switzerland. 120 people live here. They have an avalanche zone to keep developers coming and turning it into a ski resort. Lovely place. Great spot. Hikers, lots of youth hostels, and lots of people like myself who like to just get where we can be a part of the community. Buy cheese from Esther. But the point is, this is a rural community that still has a strong sense of community, even though they're controlling the building. So here's how architects design buildings. Step number 1, communication. Ask questions, listen to answers. Okay, are you keeping up with me here? You got it? Ask questions. Rule number 1. Favorite book is How to Talk So Kids Will Listen and Listen So Kids Will Talk. Read it when my son, who's 27, was about 5. Best book I ever read. Immediately put it into place in my work. In the very beginning of a project, we ask questions. How many people are going to be here? How long are they going to be using the space? How many people will be sitting in the Center for Creativity? Then, here's the tricky part. Listening to the answers. Not looking at your iPhones, not worrying about what you can get done tomorrow before the weekend, but really listening. That's step 1 for building a building for community. That's step 1 for building a community. That's step 1 for getting to know someone. Open-ended question. Tell me about your community. Nothing can be answered with a yes or no. It has to be open-ended. Great way to make friends. Old Town, Edinburgh, Scotland. Best example of a dense community where people live together since the 11th century. And they're really, really very specific about what they need. Interpretation, step number 2. Everybody can't have what they want. Everybody has to have what they need. You have to think about it for about 6 months. Because if you want something for 6 months, my theory is you probably need it. But the bottom line is if you're trying to build a building, you've got to keep in mind, what do you really need? Not just my wildest dream. Because everything I do is publicly funded. You can't have your wildest dream. This is called the Fred and Ginger building in Prague, Czech Republic, designed by Frank Gehry, one of my favorite architects. The people in Prague, some like it, some don't. I personally like it because I think it's a great example of innovation. It's where you create a design that works, space, money, time. It's to get people involved in the community. That's innovation. And then there's Vernazza, Italy, one of the 5 Cinque Terre towns. They had a Department of Transportation wanted to run a big highway through there. No way, they said. You'll run our little town. Our peninsula is already full. We can't have any more buildings. It's just like Gemmelwald. It's packed with people that come to feel that community. So this is transforming, crafting buildings that either the renovations or new constructions that sustain community, that fit in their site, that are good for energy, that are leadership and energy and environmental design type buildings, that let people in wheelchairs go to the bathroom in them, that have all of the ideas that you need to make a building work, to make a community, to let everybody use it. That's transformation. And last, happens to be my groundbreaking in Antlers, where we're doing a $3 million USDA project. Look at all those happy people with those shovels. This is dedication. We're fulfilling our clients' expectations, but we're also building in the built environment. Want a poem? We regard our living together not as an unfortunate mishap, warranting endless competition among us, but as a deliberate act of God to make us a community of brothers and sisters jointly involved in a quest for a composite answer to the varied problems of life. You know, there's a lot of problems in life. So far in this community, I've worked with the design for the floating amphitheater where people have music and connect. Ronald McDonald's House, Tulsa Community Food Bank, domestic violence intervention, all of those are problems being solved by my building. However, they're the people in the building solving the problem, not the building. So that's, I think you have to keep in mind, very efficient, lean buildings are needed, but it's more about the people. We're starting a clinic, started this week, North Tulsa. Some of you probably know the Lewin study from 2006 showed that if you live north of Admiral, you have a 14-year life expectancy, shorter than if you live in South Tulsa. This building is being designed to provide health care for West, North, East Tulsa, and to provide some equality in that. It's funded by University of Oklahoma, and it will be a full-service diabetes oncology center. We've worked for 3 years with the neighbors to get the building to be usable and community-spirited. I must tell you, there's a little bit of dissent, not much, but since 1921, the United States' worst race riot, it's been a real problem to rebuild that community, and this building, we hope, does that. We want to be sure to say, When we build it, will they come and use it? And will it promote health and healing? And will it engage the sense of community and pride in the community? And will it promote a sense of shared responsibility for people to go take care of their own health and well-being? And will this design that we're going to build, will it inspire community? 1,500-year-old building. Piazza San Marco, Venice. Poor city sinks, and they do everything they can to say that people come from everywhere. Go to Venice quickly, but don't miss seeing this, because this is a real sense of community. You have to have community. Give a damn. All of you need to give a damn in your community. Thank you.